and welcome to episode 42 of the Cherry Bakewell Diaries. Today I'm going to be making a lovely white round loaf, and it's going to have a topping on of garlic mushroom and cheese. So I'll go and get everything ready and I'll see you in a minute. So we've got 500 grams of strong white bread flour, and to that I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. And then I'm going to mix mine on my electric stand mixer. Now if you want to do this by hand, you can. Then you add 25 grams of soft margarine, and you rub the margarine into the flour to make like fine breadcrumbs until it's all disappeared. And it literally takes a few minutes. That's why I use a soft margarine, because it disappears quite quickly. So rub it all in. If you want to use butter, you can, but I find the soft margarine rubs in a bit easier. So that's just about done now. So nice fine breadcrumbs. Then we've got 1 7-gram sachet of fast action dried yeast. You just sprinkle that in, mix that all through to combine. And then I've got 300 mils of tepid water. Now, if you do 150 mils of cold water and then top it up with 150 mils of boiling water, that should be about right. So it should be about the same temperature as your skin, basically. So you pour all that in, and then I'm going to go and get this mixed on the stand mixer. If you haven't got a stand mixer, you can do it by hand, and then you have to knead it for 10 minutes. Okay? So I'll go and get this mixed and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so our dough's all mixed. So all I'm going to do is add a little bit of flour and just knead it in the bowl into a nice neat ball like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cover that in cling film. And then we're going to cover it in a tea towel as well, because we've got to keep it as warm as we can. So nice and tightly in cling film. And then we'll cover it in a tea towel as well. And then we'll put that somewhere warm to rise for about an hour. So come back in a minute and I'll show you the next bit. Right, so while the bread's rising, I'm going to make the garlic mushroom topping. And in a pan, I've got 25 grams of salted butter. And then we're going to just melt that, just slowly. And then I've got 1 clove of garlic. You can put this in a garlic press if you want to, but I like to cut it, just finely chop it into, if you just smash it with the back of the knife and then just chop it into small chunks. So that's just melting down now. And then what we'll do is we'll add our garlic to our butter. And then while that's just melting down, I'm just going to slice about 5 mushrooms. You can use button mushrooms or closed cut mushrooms, whichever you want. Just cut it into slices. And then that's just coming up to melt now. So that makes our garlic butter. You can buy the ready-made garlic butter if you want to. But I find putting the fresh garlic in gives a nicer, intenser flavour. Right, so that's melted now, so we're going to add our mushrooms. And literally this just takes a couple of minutes. All you're doing is just coasting them in the garlic butter and just softening them. So just a couple of minutes. Keep stirring them. Make sure they all get coated. So you can see they're all getting coated in the butter. Because they will go in the oven to cook as well. So what we'll do is we cook when our bread is ready to go in the oven, we'll cook our bread for 15 minutes, then we'll take it out, we'll brush it with egg, and then we'll sprinkle it in grated cheese and then the mushrooms and then a little bit more grated cheese on the top. So we need to get our mushrooms ready for when the bread's ready to come out. So they're very nearly done now. Like that. So they're still quite firm, but they're all nicely coated. So I'll put these to cool and then we'll get on with the bread. So our bread has now doubled in size, as you can see. And I'm going to take that out onto our board. Only takes about an hour. Just hour or just over an hour, as long as it's doubled in size. And then we're going to knead that back, what we call knocking it back, for 5 minutes, just to knock out some of the air or most of the air. So plenty of flour on your board and knead it. And you can probably hear it popping. So there it is after 5 minutes. We've kneaded out most of the air, and we're just going to pop it onto a baking tray and just slightly press it out. Not too much, just slightly flatten it out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cover that in a tea towel and let that rest again for 30 to 45 minutes. So if you come back in a minute, I'll show you the next bit. So our bread's had over 45 minutes to rise. It's nicely risen, so I'm now going to bake this on gas mark 6 for 15 minutes, which is 200 degrees centigrade. So just bake it for 15 minutes, then take it out. We're going to brush it with some egg. And then I've got my grated cheese. I've got 100 grams of grated mature cheddar and our garlic mushroom. So we take it out after 15 minutes, brush it with egg, add our toppings, and then it goes back for a further 10 minutes. So I'll get all that done and I'll show you the finished article at the end. Hello and welcome back. So our bread is all cooked and there it is. Look, delicious, golden, cheesy, garlicky bread. Absolutely delicious, and it's risen really nicely as well. It's still warm actually, so that'd be really nice. So enjoy that. Next week we're going to do something to do with Valentine's Day, so I might do some Valentine's cookies or something, or cupcakes. Haven't decided yet. So that's next week. Continue to like and share the videos with your friends, and don't forget to go back and have a look at some of the other videos, because we've got lots of videos on there now. We've got about 42 videos on there now, perhaps a few more. So there's quite a few recipes on there. So go back and have a look at some of the other videos and see what you think. Okay, so for now, enjoy your garlic, mushroom and cheese bread. And I'll see you again next week. Take care for now. Bye.